everyone, and welcome back to Emkin Gardening. Today we're going to be doing a little mini lesson recap on pruning trees. Very beginning of spring, now is the perfect time to prune them. Now last year we went into extensive detail on how to prune trees and fruit trees. For this video, instead of doing the exact same thing, we're just going to do a little recap just to refresh everyone's mind on the process and what to look out for, and then we're going to link those videos at the very end. So if you did need more of an in-depth modeling or examples, you can always go check those ones out afterwards to get that information. But for today, we're just going to do a little recap on pruning trees. But before we begin, please make sure you like and subscribe to Emkin Gardening. We are just about to start all of our spring chores and the first round of planting the beautiful plants that we're about to get. So you don't want to miss out on anything, so subscribe right now. So we are in our front yard with our crab apple tree. Now we love this crab apple tree. It has beautiful blooms in the early spring, and then it has nice, lush, glossy green foliage all through the summer. And then for the fall, it starts changing the colors to nice, brilliant fall coloring, and then starts forming the winter berries, these red, beautiful berries that hang on really tightly. You will see when we get a little bit closer in here how tight they stay, because the bundles that they stay on do not fall from the trees. We get 4 seasons of interest with this crab apple tree. So how you know that your trees are ready to be pruned is when they start pushing buds. So they will start plumping up in their buds. They're going to start pushing those blooms. So that's a good indicator that your tree is ready to be pruned. So for our recap, just a friendly reminder that when you're pruning your trees, you just follow the 3 Ds. So dead, diseased, or damaged. Now this is a fairly young tree and it's pretty protected in the sense that there's not a lot around it that has damaged it or caused it to become diseased yet. So there isn't a whole lot that we have to prune out concerning those 3 Ds, dead, diseased, or damaged. There is a little bit of dead, but very, very minimum. So once that whole process is done, then you start pruning to shape. And that's where we're really going to prune this tree. We're going to be pruning specific limbs out completely in order to create that goblet-like structure for the tree. That allows all of that airflow to be able to come in and out, preventing disease, preventing moisture from staying in on the branches or the leaves or the blooms throughout the season. So when you prune it in a way that the tree is kind of gobleting out, you allow all of that airflow to come in. And there's specific ways that we are going to prune it to get that certain shape. Okay, so looking at it from this angle, you can absolutely see the new growth that happened in the last season. It's kind of like an olive green color, the branches from the old growth, and then a nice kind of maroony brown that comes up, and that is all new growth from this last year, which is fantastic. And as you can see, the buds are really popping. They're about to really start pushing that growth to become blooms. And you can see what I was talking about with the bundles that were holding the berries. They're really strong. So all the birds have eaten all of the berries. They don't fall and make a mess, which is wonderful with this crabapple tree. So these just stay here. I'm not going to prune any of these off. They will end up falling off on their own completely. But with the 3 Ds, I kind of gave this tree a once over, and I didn't find anything that was damaged, and I didn't find anything that was diseased. There are some spots on this tree that I want to point out to you that I'm going to be watching, but not necessarily doing anything about as of right now. So some of these spots are on the actual bark of the tree, right here you can see a little bit of kind of opening starting. So I'm going to be watching this area pretty closely just to make sure that nothing is getting in there. There's some bigger ones on these main trunks as well. So that's an area that I am going to be watching. I'm not going to be immediately lopping off these beautiful main tree structures yet, but I am going to be watching that for any disease that gets in. And then the only dead branch that I found on this tree is actually right here. And as you can see, the coloration is sunken in, it's more gray. None of the life is in the offshoots that are coming on. So I know that this is dead. I'm going to be cutting off this one completely. Actually, that one as well, right here, this little mini one. Boop. All right, so those are the only Ds that I could find. And so the other thing that we're going to be doing is opening up. So what that means is we're going to be taking out any of the branches that are crisscrossing each other. For example, this one right up here. One of these two branches will be taken out because we don't want this rubbing to be happening, because that will open up the tree bark and make it susceptible to diseases. So one of those will be coming out. Another example is right here. This tree branch is growing up and completely under this one. So we'll have to figure out if we just chop it at a certain point and have the offshoot going a different direction, or if we just take out it completely. The other thing that we're going to be doing is taking out any branch that is growing directly into the tree, because again, we don't want things coming into the tree, we want it as a goblet shape. So for example, this branch right here is growing completely into the tree. So we would want that to be out, because if the trees are growing that much in one season, it's going to be way up here and it's going to be competing with this main one up here. So we don't want that, so we will take that one out. That is going to be the bulk of the pruning for this, since we don't have a lot of the 3Ds. And as a rule of thumb, try not to prune over 1/3 of the entire tree. So we'll have to be mindful just to make sure that we're not really cutting it down too much. I'm not going to top this tree off. It's a crabapple tree. It's going to get 12 to 15 feet, and I want it to get that height and provide shade in the end. So eventually it will be really tall and beautiful and wonderful. So I'm not going to be lopping that off yet. All right, so we're going to take our Felcos and first prune out the 3Ds and then go in for some shaping, taking out all the crisscrossing ones, the ones that are rubbing, and the ones that are growing directly into the tree. Here we go. Dead branches that we got, but we did find one damaged right in the middle here. It's kind of broken open, and that is a perfect spot for bugs to get in and start wreaking havoc. So I did end up just chopping that whole branch off, but I wanted to also show you how close to the tree I end up cutting. I want to leave a little collar on the branch that I'm cutting so that it gives the tree a little bit more space to heal. And again, you're not cutting it too close to the main branch to introduce bacteria and fungus and buggies. So right here is a great example. I left a little bit of a collar so that the tree can heal itself. The last step we're going to do is fertilize with our tree tone from Espoma. We're going to sprinkle a little bit around a ring mimicking the canopy of the tree. So we're going to go a little bit wider than just the base of the tree, a little bit. So we're going to kind of make a circle around where the roots have potentially grown out to. All right, easy as that. I'm not going to scritch it into the dirt yet. We are going to get some rain, and this whole flower bed is also going to get re-fertilized once the perennials start coming up from the ground. So that was your recap on how to prune trees. Again, we will link those really in-depth pruning videos at the very end so you can check it out. But it's really important to prune your trees just to check on any diseases or dead, those crisscrossing branches, all of that stuff. It's great to give your trees just a quick once over, and if you do it now when they're younger, it's going to save you a lot of hassle when they're really big. So if you take care of it while they're still younger, you're going to alleviate a lot of headache when they get a lot bigger and more difficult to manage. So if you liked this video, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to Empkin Gardening. Again, we have a lot of stuff coming up that we don't want you to miss out on. So we hope you're having a great weekend, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.